Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason and this is Raven Space News, the best place to get your news about the Baltimore Ravens. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please remember to subscribe to the Raven Space. We have lots of great videos and lots of things that you guys, I'm sure, will be interested in. I also want to say, please share and like this video. It helps us grow, and it's a good thing to do. So please help us out. We have some great topics for you guys today, and we're going to hop right into these topics. We're going to talk about Crockett Gilmore going to the offensive line, a new free agent strategy for the Ravens now that the franchise tag has been used on Jarvis Landry, and then we're going to talk about the comp pick situation for the 2018 draft. But then at the end of the show, we have the mailbag and the comment of the day. My favorite parts is where you guys get involved by putting your mailbag questions and your comments in the comment section below. And the first topic is Crockett Gilmore will be moving to offensive line instead of playing tight end. Is this a good idea? So first things first, it's important to know that Crockett Gilmore is going to be a free agent. Now the Ravens can resign him, of course, but if he's slated to be a free agent this year. Crockett Gilmore's had some ups and downs, a lot more downs than he's had ups. Crockett Gilmore deals with injuries. It feels like every single season. Now, Crockett is a very, 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 very high potential guy. I just see Crockett Gilmore, and when he's on the field, he dominates. We all remember that game in Oakland where he dominated that team. If you don't know, again, go to our YouTube channel. We have those highlights there. Crockett can dominate if he would have met his potential. However, injuries kept him from that. But now he wants to be an offensive lineman. He said he put on 50 pounds. He's training with Charles Bentley. If you guys don't know Charles Bentley, he's an offensive line coach that has his own academy. And it looks like Crockett Gilmore is really trying to make this transition. Because of this, I do think that this will be the last time we see him in Baltimore, because I don't think the Ravens want a tight end who transitions to offensive lineman, where they can go get an offensive lineman in the draft. It's a very strong O-line draft. So I think this is in for Crockett Gilmore. And honestly, I think it's a bad idea for him to make that change, because he has so much potential as a tight end. I mean, I don't want to go too far, but Gronk-esque, right? Gronk-light, like that is how high his potential is. He cannot be Gronk, of course, but he could be a big body tight end that is quick and dominates all position groups. He's faster than linebackers, stronger than DBs. He could have been that, but because of his injuries, I think he's lost a step. I think he knows that. He says, okay, I still want to play football. I still love football. Let me try O-line. It's going to be hard for him because the way he's built tall and really not with that base that a lot of offensive linemen have. So sad story. I feel bad for the kid, but hopefully everything works out. But I do not think he'll be a Raven in the future. And it sucks, but I hope things work out for him. So now we're going to go to the next topic. And this topic is a little old. Jarvis Landry's franchise tag, we know that. So he will not be able to be a Baltimore Raven unless it is a tag and trade and all this good stuff. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Dolphins understand that they don't have him. They don't really have an offense anymore. They don't really have a running back that is a superstar. Their quarterback, who was a franchise guy, was injured, and now that's a question. Jarvis Landry is the only guy they have that, who you even have to really game plan for, right? So they tagged him. So what should the Ravens' new strategy be? Well, I honestly think that they should employ a strategy from the most successful team in the NFL last year. I know this is something that's not, a innovative idea, but it's a copycat league, guys, and it's time for the Ravens to do this, I think. Usually the Ravens try to get one big splash receiver. Now, there's going to have to be a lot of things happening. There's going to have to be some restructurings. There's going to have to be some cap casualties. But the Ravens need to do what the Eagles did last season. And instead of looking for an A receiver, go get a couple of B receivers. You know, go get those type of players and put more talent around Joe Flacco versus one big guy, because right now in free agency, I don't even see a big receiver that I would trust, right? The only receiver that was in that group that you had to game plan for, honestly, was Jarvis Landry. Allen Robinson is good. Allen Robinson wasn't even the biggest, threat on his team last year. It was the rookie running back. It was that offensive line, right? Allen Robinson has really struggled early in his career. He's even struggled with a good receiver on the opposite side of him in Allen Hurns. So I just don't think he's the guy. I really don't. So instead of paying him top money, look into a Tavon Austin at a very, very affordable deal. Look into the guy who's in Seattle who's about to hit free agency. Look into him. Again, look into Josh Gordon. Try to get 2 or 3 of those B-level guys and be like the Eagles and build a team that it can dominate in a lot of phases versus a team that is like the Steelers, who have star players at different levels, right? The Eagles don't have any star players, but they work cohesively as a team. The Steelers have a lot of star players, but sometimes they don't work together. You got to pick which one you want. Now, the issue with the Eagles strategy is that the Eagles have proven that their offensive play caller is awesome, right? Doug Peterson was great. The Ravens have not proven that. So if Marty Mornhinweg wants to prove it, this is his only chance, because if he doesn't prove this year, he will be released. He'll be fired. So, but that's what I think they should do. The defense is good, okay? The defense I feel confident in. Let's go use these draft picks to go get some rookies to help our offense out. Let's go to free agency and get some B plus players that aren't too expensive. Do not overpay, but get some B plus players and build a team that is good all the way across the board on offense. And we may not be the number 1 offense like the Eagles, but we can be. If we're number 10 offense, we make the playoffs, and that's just the honest truth. If we're number 10 or number 15 offense next year, we're in the playoffs. And as I say, when you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. Let me know what you think the Ravens strategy should be in the comments below. And now we're going to go to topic 3. And this topic is about the compensatory picks for 2018. The Ravens received a 6th round pick. Many were expecting a 3rd round. So let me let you know how this stuff works, guys. So basically, when teams lose players in free agency, they have a chance to get a comp pick. This comp pick comes at different levels. You sometimes can get multiple picks. Sometimes you get 1 pick. You can go from all the way from the 3rd to the, I believe, the 7th round. But you can't get a 1st rounder. You can't get a 2nd rounder. You can only get 3rd to 7th. Now, these are doled out by the players that you lose. So, for example, the Ravens thought they were going to get a 3rd round pick because they had Ricky Wagner, who was paid a giant contract by the Lions. The issue that the Ravens didn't foresee, I think, is that, one, Ricky Wagner got hurt late in the season, so only played 13 games instead of 16 games. I think if he would have played the full 16 games, we would have got our 3rd round pick. Also, got to remember that the Ravens also had a lot of big free agents this year. Danny Woodhead isn't really factored in because he was hurt a lot, right? So, the team who lost Danny Woodhead wouldn't really get much. However, the team like the Cardinals that gave up Tony Jefferson, that's a big thing. He played every game, so now those could balance out, right? So maybe the Ravens were going to get a 4th round pick, but now they only get a 6th round pick because of Brandon Carr and Tony Jefferson, right? It's a way that it works. There's a system. Ozzie knows it better than I know it, of course. But people are disappointed in Baltimore that they only got a 6th round pick for Ricky Wagner, who I believe was the highest paid offensive lineman in last year's free agency. So again, the Ravens are very good at getting comp picks. As you guys know, we lose a lot of talent in free agency every year, and we lead the league in overall comp picks by a wide margin. And so this year was a disappointing year for that. Hopefully next year will be better. Actually, I don't even think it could be, because right now the biggest star that we're going to lose is Mike Wallace. and I don't think he's going to get a big contract. So this is tough for the Ravens. But they got a 6th-round pick, so add a 6th-rounder to our sheet. Hopefully we can make something out of it. Again, a 6th-rounder is, you know, whatever, and you can't trade comp picks, so we're going to pick somebody with the 6th-round pick. So, but now we're at the end of the show, and we're going to go to the mailbag, when our mailbag is sponsored by our Raven Space Patreon. Subscribers, please go check out our Patreon. It's the way that you guys can help us out. And today's question comes from Connor Engel, and he asked, would you try to trade up to get Ridley? Thank you so much for your question, Connor. And the answer is no. The reason is that picks in the NFL are overvalued. Not just the NFL. The picks in every single sport are overvalued. A lot of times, you know, people be like, oh man, this 4th-round pick is awesome, right? But really, most likely the 4th-round pick is going to be a player that will be good for you for a couple of years and then leave you in free agency. and that's, you know, that's just the real reality, right? So they're a little overvalued, and because they're overvalued, if you want to move in front of the Bears, which is the first place I think they're going to go, there's a lot of different places. I believe one of our subscribers, Marcus Weiss, said that he also believed the Redskins were a choice as well, but they're a little further up. But the Bears, if you want to get in front of them, you got to jump to the 7th pick, which means you have to jump up at least 8 spots. So, man, tough. That's a tough thing to ask. To get that 7th pick, you're going to have to give up your 1st-rounder, probably your 2nd-rounder, and maybe a 3rd-rounder for next year. Or, you know, you're going to have to give up a lot, right? For example, the last big one that I can remember was for RG3, where I think that the Washington Redskins gave up 2 1st-rounders, a 2nd-rounder, and I think a 4th-rounder, right? For RG3, who was good for a season and a half, and then Kirk Cousins is now your quarterback, right? So again, overvalued, right? That pick was so valued that a team now trades, I believe it was the Browns at that time, traded that pick away and got so much in return. So I don't think you'll trade up to get this player. I think he's going to be good, but I don't think it's worth it. Now, sometimes it is worth it now. If you guys remember, Julio Jones was a similar situation where they gave away a lot of picks, I believe 4 or 5 picks, and got Julio Jones. You get Julio Jones to sign a long-term contract, and now it's worth it. So it matters. I don't think I would do that. But Ozzie May, I don't think Ozzie's a risk taker like that, so I wouldn't bet on it. Now we're going to go to the comment of the day again, and this comment is from Brandon Williams. I don't think it's our Brandon, but it'd be cool. And he says, I do think we should resign Urban because not only is he good against the run, but he can also give good or decent pass rush in the interior. So I like the comment. I really, really believe that he's very good against the run. Urban is a player that is not, you're not going to hear his name a lot in the broadcast, but he can hold that edge. And a 3-4 linebacker, 3-4 lineman, your job is to hold that edge. And I think he can really do that at a high level. Now, pass rush, I wouldn't go crazy bonkers about. Does have a good power move, but I haven't really seen a bevy of pass rush moves like I've seen from other of our defensive linemen. For example, Michael Pierce has a lot of good pass rush moves for a defensive tackle. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is the end of the show. Again, we will be posting a mailbag tomorrow. Check it out. Also, we have videos coming, so please stay tuned. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.